coming to you from Tufts University via Kansas City, Kansas. I'm here to tell you that I am the 99%. It's not often that we're permitted to speak about class at Tufts, not even when we're in class. We're often wrapped up in superficial debates about the theories of active citizenship, stressed about the privilege of going abroad, or arguing whether a race does or does not exist in the 21st century. But for many folk here, we don't have to talk about class or race to know that it's real. We live it. In fact, in recent months, I've refrained from calling myself a member of the working class. I've started to claim the label of the working underclass. Because no matter how hard we work, we still find ourselves under a class. We are the 99%. I was born and raised in rural Fort Scott, Kansas by my grandmother, Willa Mae Wilson, a Black Panther. She's a strong single woman who worked anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day to make sure my brother and I had a roof over our head and decent clothes on our backs. She drove an hour and a half every day to Missouri, where she received race-based death threats upon the setting of the sun. I can recall many mornings between the ages of 5 and 12 greeting my grandmother at the door at 6 a.m. She'd be coming home from work, rushing to cook breakfast, iron her clothes, and pick out our little afros. I can recall one day asking her why her eyes were so red around her hazel pupils. She'd say, "Baby, because that's the color of love. And I'll love you forever and ever and always." She was the 99%. The love that my grandmother spoke of, the love that many of you know quite well, late nights, early mornings, back pains and migraines, is what allowed me to be here today, a first-generation college student at a college that costs way too much. Now, there's no one in my extended family who's ever attended college, save one that costs $57,000 a year. My grandmother worked those overnight shifts for 15 years before she was laid off. She didn't have the opportunity to be in a union, and she was the only African American and the only woman in this 3M factory. However, when she was laid off, she was wide enough to buy and remodel a few shacks and turn a profit. This was backbreaking work for a one-woman team and 2 preteen grandsons. She turned those 2 $10,000 relics into $300,000 homes, only be told by the banks that there was something wrong with her paperwork, and in fact, 5 years later, the homes are only worth a quarter of their previously stated value.
What?
And due to changes in the variable loan rate, she was upside down in equity. As a kid, when we had to leave our home for Kansas City, the home I helped build with my own hands, I knew something wasn't right. However, I was helpless then, because we were alone. We were poor and we had to carry on. We had to survive. We were then the 99%. Now, in grade school, I learned that 99 was greater than 1. By middle school, I learned that 99 is often hard to find. Sometimes you got to hold on to it. By college, having grown accustomed to working 30+ hours a week, I was mad at the system and exhausted with my situation 99% of the time. When I came into contact with Occupy, I knew the truth, that we are the 99, and when it comes to our support, big banks and big business need not apply. I believe corporations are people when Texas and Rick Perry execute one. I'll believe corporations are people when Eric Holder detains and prosecutes one. I'll believe corporations are people when Barack Hussein Obama impales and derails one with the fierce urgency of right now. Do not be fools. Forget the small print and use some common sense. One is not greater than or equal to 99. I am somebody. You are somebody. We are somebody, and together we can make more change than the Bank of America ATM. We are the 99%.